Vadra carried a bag to the house today which had Palestine emblazoned on it, a gesture in support for the people of the conflict-hit region. Vadra was seen carrying a handbag emblazoned with the word Palestine and Palestinian emblems, including a watermelon, seen as a symbol of Palestinian solidarity. Congress termed carrying the bag a special symbolic gesture of support, of compassion, commitment to justice and humanity. In June, Vadra slammed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over what she had said were the Israel government's, quote, genocidal actions, unquote, in Gaza, as she accused him and his government of, quote, barbarism, unquote. BJP hit out at Vadra over the, quote, pro-Palestine gesture, unquote, saying, quote, as far as the Gandhi family members are concerned, it is nothing new. Right from Nehru to Priyanka Vadra, members of the Gandhi family roam around with a bag of appeasement, but never a bag of patriotism, unquote. These are the words of the BJP viewers. But Vadra responded defiantly. Listen in.
You want to say something? Why are you carrying this bag?
I've said many times what my beliefs are regarding this. And if you look at my Twitter handle, all my comments are over there.
They say that the parliamentarians can't carry this.
Who's going to decide what clothes I wear now? Who's going to decide that? That's typical patriarchy, that you decide what clothes women wear also.
Okay, ma'am.
I don't subscribe to that. I will wear what I want.
Where did this patriarchy come from? Of course, viewers, is still mystifying, because I don't think anyone objected to what she was wearing, just the accessory that she had brought along, emblazoned with the word Palestine. While it is true that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has spoken today on the atrocities committed against Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh, her tone has been markedly more restrained in comparison to when she has stood for Palestine. Vadra has spoken at length thrice on atrocities committed in Palestine during the ongoing war in the Gulf post-October 7, 2023, but only once on atrocities committed on Hindus in Bangladesh. Vadra has also met the Palestinian envoy to India, but has not called on or met with the Bangladesh envoy to India. Vadra has been openly accusatory towards Israel, firmly outlining her pro-Palestinian leanings. And let me draw this comparison for you, viewers. That's one of her tweets. On October 18, 2023, almost a year back, she said the bombing of hospitals, the murder of children, the blockading of food, water and medicines to civilians, there are no words strong enough to condemn the horror that is taking place in Gaza. As a woman, a mother and human being, I'm ashamed that the world is allowing these crimes to be committed with such impunity. Viewers, then a few days later, she once again tweeted, and she said, quote, to refuse to take a stand and watch in silence as every law of humanity is pulverized, food, water, medical supplies, communication and power is cut off to millions of people, and thousands of men, women and children in Palestine are being annihilated, goes against everything our country has stood for throughout its life as a nation, unquote. Viewers, in the Lok Sabha today, however, she says, and I quote, the first issue I want to discuss is that this government should raise its voice against the atrocities committed against the Hindu and Christian minorities in Bangladesh. It should hold talks with them, which is of course the Bangladeshis, and take their support again, the Bangladeshis. Viewers, I wish I could juxtapose these tweets and these remarks and these contents side by side. That was the original intention, but I can't obviously do it. But you see, the pathos with which she speaks about Palestine doesn't translate quite severely and critically as a sentimentality with which she spoke about Palestine doesn't compare with a slightly more anodyne, matter-of-fact statement on the situation in Bangladesh. Incidentally, just a few days ago, Wayanad MP Priyanka Gandhi Vadra met with the Palestinian Shah de Affairs, Dr. Abed El-Razeg Abu Jazer, at her residence, pledging support to the Palestinian cause. Incidentally, Dr. Jazer recently attended a memorial at the Indian Islamic Cultural Center, viewers, in New Delhi. For whom? For a man called Hassan Nasrallah, for the slain chief of Islamist terror group Hezbollah. The meeting saw raucous sloganeering against US and Israel. Nasrallah was not just a sectarian extremist but also deeply anti-Semitic. Nasrallah once proclaimed, quote, that Jews are the greatest enemy of mankind, unquote. Nasrallah's Hezbollah has also been a supporter of Kashmir's liberation from, quote, oppression, unquote, viewers. He wants Azadi for Kashmir. The Indian government has been walking a tight diplomatic rope on Israel and Palestine. It has taken to couching its language in diplomatese. This is because it recognizes Israel's strategic importance. Unlike Vadra, New Delhi hasn't taken sides in the conflict. Priyanka has accused Israel of committing, quote, horrors, unquote, in Gaza using language beyond the official position taken by the Indian government. Priyanka is yet to condemn the October 7, 2023 terror attacks on Israel perpetrated by Hamas. Viewers, if she says that she believes in humanity, then viewers, the carting away of almost 200 hostages, the brazen butchery by the Hamas by crossing an international boundary into Israel, the killing of babies in their cots, viewers, is also a deeply inhuman act, and it should be condemned in the interest of humanity. But viewers, you haven't had Priyanka even once support Israel or condemn the Hamas. Priyanka has not condoled, as I said, with the Israeli government on the kidnapping and brutalizing of its citizens on October 7, 2023 terror attack. Vadra's unifocal and unconditional support for Palestine exhibits an emotional and less strategic response to the conflict in West Asia. It may be worth noting that in comparison to Palestine, the state of Israel has been a more steadfast ally. And let me break it down for you, viewers. If you do a straight comparison, Israel provided logistical intelligence and weapon support to India during the Kargil War in 1999. Israel has supported India's position on Kashmir unilaterally and condemned Pak-sponsored Islamist terror. In sharp contrast, Palestinian Authority that rules Palestine has often taken positions at odds with New Delhi on Kashmir. Hamas leadership that ruled the Gaza Strip, Palestinian territory, has called for the liberation of Kashmir. Palestine Ambassador Walid Abu Ali had shared a stage with Hafiz Saeed, a known India hater and a terrorist responsible for the 26/11 attacks on Mumbai. Viewers, several questions arise, several questions that need to be asked tonight. And let's open this up, this conversation we need to be engaging with, viewers, so that we can properly look at this issue in its entirety, above and perhaps even beyond the politics of it. So I want to first begin with Tehseen Poonawalla, who's of course also related to Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, very close relationship. And I have to ask you, your sister-in-law of sorts, Tehseen Poonawalla, why hasn't Vadra expressly condemned? Fine, no one can stop her from taking up cudgels and speaking up for the dead, wounded, those that have turned into refugees in Palestine. No one can stop her, and that's fine in the interest of humanity. But surely she could have similarly expressly condemned the October 7, 2023 terror attack by Gaza governing Palestinian group Hamas on Israel. Surely Israel is also a victim of a major, inhuman, vicious attack on its people, on humanity.
Thank you, Rahul, for having me on the show. I hope you can hear me because there seems to be some network issue with the Zoom.
Yes.
Thank you, Rahul. There are two issues that you have raised. Number one, and I quote from Priyanka Gandhi Vadra ji's tweets, where she's expressly spoken about civilians, kids, hospitals being bombed. I quote somebody we all on this panel, irrespective of our political affiliation, respect a lot. 11 July 2024, the Prime Minister of India says death of innocents in Gaza unacceptable. I also quote somebody else we all respect on this panel, Jai Shankarji. India deeply pained by death of innocent civilians in Gaza, 9 September 2024. Are these two gentlemen also pandering to Muslims, to minorities? Incidentally, Srimati Priyanka Gandhi Vadra today spoke in Parliament about Hindus in Bangladesh being prosecuted. Abhijit's out here, one of the best.
Okay, I think we're having a few problems.
In Syria, there is none. There's as much as the Prime Minister's press conference is zero plan B. They have no plan B. And in Bangladesh, Hindus are being massacred. Now let's come to the issue that's real. India's official position as of just now, this moment, is India stands for a two-nation. India stands for the right of Palestine. It is the cornerstone of India's foreign policy. Tehseen Poonawalla is not saying it. The MEA website is saying it as of now. And I can show you several answers in Parliament. The external minister has answered this to members of Parliament in Parliament, that we stand for the right of the Palestinians. Now, may I ask, where has Priyanka Gandhi Vadra crossed the line?
Well, it's strange. Viewers, it's very strange that Tehseen has also selectively looked at the responses of the MEA, the Prime Minister, etc. The Prime Minister is unequivocally condemned Hamas, a Palestinian group elected, viewers, by Palestinians in Gaza. The same people Priyanka Gandhi Vadra sheds tears for, that went into Israel and attacked innocent civilians, viewers. Some who couldn't even speak for themselves, some who were just starting out in life and were in cradles. Viewers, I haven't heard Priyanka Gandhi Vadra come out, and as I said, and I asked Tehseen, I began by saying that, look, it's unexceptionable if she wants to condemn attacks on children, etc. in Gaza. She's within her rights, and she should. But how about also being balanced? And this is the point of contention. It's not about Priyanka Gandhi Vadra making a statement of intent or what have you, or wearing this Palestinian bag. People are questioning her selectivity, her blindsiding the fact that in this particular case over the last 1 year, who triggered the war? It was the Hamas. Palestinians elected the Hamas. Palestinians are the Hamas. Viewers, there has been no condemnation of a terror attack. And the same Congress party that today, through Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, is shedding tears about Bangladeshi Hindus, opposed the CAA. What was the CAA? The CAA was to give refuge to the minorities persecuted by their Muslim majoritarian brethren in Bangladesh. The same Congress party opposed the CAA, viewers. So what are we talking about? Nonetheless, let me bring it 1 second. No, 1 second. Listen, let the others also come in.
Just 1 second.
No, why? Why, Tehseen Poonawalla? You should have answered the question in the first place. Now, hang on.
You're factually wrong.
No, I'm not factually wrong. There is nothing factually wrong. Please, 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. No, I'm not falling for this bait. I'm going to allow others to have a complete view and give us a well-rounded debate here tonight. I can't constantly be opening the house out to one person. You got your opportunity. I never interrupted you. You stopped. You asked me a rhetorical question. I responded. I want to bring in now Mr. Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Mr. Mitra, what do you make of this entire, I don't know what to call it, but it appears to many virtue signaling. I'm not going to use those words, but that's what many people are saying today. How do you respond?
Rahul, you see, it was a lot worse than virtue signaling. I want you to zoom in on the bottom right of that bag. I'm just going to hold up the part to you here. If you can see this.
Yeah.
This part. Now you look at the right-hand side of this.
Yes.
It's got a tiny Palestinian, Jordanian flag there, indicating the Jordan River. So if you focus in, if you can get the cameraman to just show the bag again, the still with the bag.
Right.
You'll see that part at the bottom right.
Yes.
You can't see this particular thing.
Okay.
In between are barbed wire and roses and a dove, which is Israel. And the other side is the sea. Now, what is the river there called? The Jordan River. From the river to the sea, Jordan will be free. She was literally holding a call. She was holding a placard for the genocide of Jews. I'm not surprised because Stefano Maino, her grandfather, was part of Army Group South in the German invasion of Ukraine, of the USSR, which was responsible for the worst excesses of the Holocaust, including the
Well,
Babi Yar.
Mr. Mitra, I don't know about
Now,
that.
this is
So I don't want to
this is
underwrite
chronically.
that on the platform. But
She
yes.
has to be aware of what she is saying given her own family history. She has literally held up a
These are
placard for
allegations.
genocide.
That's
She has held up-
that's the photograph. That's the one.
That
on
is
the
the
right.
photograph.
Yeah.
You look at that thin little strip in the Jordanian colors out there, that is meant to be the river because
Yeah.
it's called the Jordan River. That is what separates the Transjordan from Israel. Then Israel and then the sea. Can you believe it? I am totally willing to give the fact that she is naive. She did not know what she was doing. Lord forgive them for they do not know what they do. Great. But then should she be talking on this subject if she knows nothing about it? You can't comment on things being in public life when you're literally holding up a placard for a Jewish genocide.
No, so why wasn't...
object.
One second, let me bring in the advocate. Yeah, I'll bring you in, Tehseen Poonawalla. Let me get initial opening comments, please, if you allow me, sir. Let me bring in the advocate also and also the BJP national spokesperson. I want to bring in Mr. Ali. Mr. Ali, why wasn't the terror attack on Israel an attack on humanity? Is it not, Mr. Ali?
I'm really surprised, Rahul, if someone is raising the voice for oppressed class, the class or the people, those who have been butchered by Israel. I am unable to understand what
Has
is
Hamas
bothering
not butchered anybody?
all those peoples.
Has Hamas not butchered Palestinians?
Hamas has done a particular thing that was condemned by India.
No, I'm asking you, do
Priyanka,
you condemn it?
Priyanka is also part of
Do
India.
you condemn
Once
it?
the Prime Minister has condemned that.
No, Mr. Ali,
Once
do
the
you
Prime
condemn
Minister
it?
has condemned that.
Do you condemn
Now,
it?
what is the
condemned
official,
it.
now, what is the official take? What is the official take of India?
I'm
On the-
asking
on
you,
Palestine, please
Mr.
tell me.
Shahid Ali.
Please tell me
Mr. Shahid Ali.
where Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla was wrong.
He
Whether
wasn't
this is
wrong.
not the
I'm not saying he
official
was
stand-
wrong. Except
whether this is
that
not the official stand of India, the
except that
Palestine should
India
be
has
free.
never chosen a side.
Whether
India has
this is not
espoused.
the
No, one
stand
second,
of
one
India,
second,
Palestine should
Mr.
be
Ali.
free.
Mr. Ali.
She just
Ali.
raised the voice of Palestine.
Mr. Mali,
that the
Mr.
Palestine should
Ali,
be free,
Mr.
it should be
Ali,
sovereign.
relax, calm down. Just 1 second, please. I think you missed another point of detail and I'll bring the BJP national spokesperson in, but I want to come back to you. I asked you a simple question. If you believe in humanity, then loss of life on both sides is condemnable. Yes or no?
Do you think that we are not part of India?
must
There you
allow
go.
me to
No,
speak.
You have
once
no
Prime
answers.
Minister-
I'm not getting an
once
answer.
Prime
Israeli
Minister
lives don't
condemned
matter.
that,
Sir, you must allow
Prime
me to
Minister
speak. You
condemned
cannot
that, entire
propagate
India
lies
had
about
condemned that.
Priyanka ji.
Now the Prime Minister is raising the voice for free Palestine. Why you are not echoing your voice? Why you are not echoing your voice with this,
Okay.
with India?
Okay,
Once
BJP
India
national
wants, the
spokesperson
Palestine
and
should be
Tehseen
free, it should be
Poonawalla. No,
sovereign.
I think Mr.
So you should
Shahid
also
Ali,
echo
you
your voice to
cannot
that
bring
extent.
yourself. Now, I just want to make it very clear. India viewers has been criticized by a large number of countries for not taking expressly one side. India has taken a balanced view in national interest. India has also been very firmly condemning the outrage by the Hamas, by Islamist terrorists who struck Israel and then sparked a war. One of the first statements made by the Prime Minister was to this end. He sympathized with Israel for being a victim of a terror attack, unprovoked terror attack, viewers, unprovoked. He condemned it outright. But we have not heard that. Not heard that. From a large number of those who are today talking about Palestine. And neither am I hearing it from Shahid Ali. Shahid Ali cannot tell me why he believes that Israelis don't deserve any sympathy for the unprovoked terror attack on them. What is this, viewers?
Obviously, because
What is
Israel
this?
has killed more than lots of
Obviously, he
people.
says, because Israel has killed more
Yes,
people.
obviously.
Viewers, listen to this.
Obviously.
Listen to
Absolutely,
this.
obviously.
You see, listen to this,
What?
viewers. So they deserve no sympathy. They deserve zero sympathy if their children are
Rahul,
butchered in a bed.
Rahul, I already
If their children
said
who cannot
once India
speak for
had
themselves,
condemned
cannot
the
feed
act of
themselves,
Hamas.
are beheaded, viewers. They don't deserve sympathy.
Rahul, this is
They
not
deserve
the-
to be
this is-
cleansed
this
from
really
the
is
river
not
to
done.
the sea.
So you
That's
have
what
to-
we are hearing. No, tell me, Shahid Ali. Tell me. They don't deserve.
condemned by
I
India or
have
not?
facts to give
Are
you.
we not
You're
part of
going on
India?
this
I'll come back to you,
India.
Mr. Poonawala.
India
Relax.
condemned
I'll come
Hamas.
back to
not
you.
allowing me to
India
speak.
You can
condemned
end the
Hamas.
debate. You'll always get
Now,
the last word.
now the
Don't worry.
Palestine
You
view,
facts
Palestine
on the
voice has to be
Congress,
raised
or
by
don't
India
tell
as
me.
well.
You cannot spread a misinformation, Rahul.
Okay, tell me.
It's not
What is it,
fair.
Mr. Poonawala, that you want to say? Go
It's
ahead.
really not fair.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please. I am quoting the Congress party and I am quoting Srimati Sonia Gandhi ji. Quoting Srimati Sonia Gandhi ji. On 7th October 2023, on the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War, Hamas launched a brutal attack on Israel, killing more than 1,000 people, mostly civilians, and kidnapping over 200 more. The unprecedented attack was devastating for Israel. The Indian National Congress strongly believes that violence and terror has no place in a decent world.
Okay. Something has happened with Tehseen Poonawala's connection.
No.
Now, viewers, look at the question I asked. I said,
can I make
has
this point?
Sonia Gandhi run around with a Palestine bag? Has she stood up and tweeted not once, not twice, but 3 times in favor of Palestine? No, viewers, she hasn't. She hasn't. I asked whether Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has tweeted condemning the Hamas attack. I get Sonia Gandhi and the Congress party's official position. I don't get her position. I asked Shahid Ali, does Israel deserve sympathy? No, he says. Their kids can be beheaded, it's fine. The Jewish race can be pushed into the water, it's fine. Because you see, they kill more people. This is what he says. He said it right now. Yes, very quickly, I want to bring in the BJP national spokesperson, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, and after that, I want to bring back Tehseen Poonawala. Yes. Go ahead.
I specifically stated, sir,
BJP national
when
spokesperson, come
when
in.
Hamas was attacked, when
Yes,
Hamas
Come in,
attacked
come in, come in.
Israel,
Come in.
that
Yes,
was
anchor.
Come in.
Yes, anchor.
Yes.
Anchor, please allow me to come in.
Yeah, please,
Since
go ahead.
you mentioned my designation, senior anchor, allow me to come in.
Please. Come on.
You know,
Tuheen,
Rahul,
Sinha.
today is Vijay Divas.
Yeah.
Today is Vijay Divas, a momentous occasion in the history of the nation. Today, ideally, I would have expected Priyanka Gandhi to wear a, to carry a bag, maybe proclaiming Vijay Divas. Today, the Rajya Sabha was discussing the constitution. Ideally, I would have expected her to flaunt a bag with, Bhimrao Ambedkar Sahab's picture in it. But once again, she has shown that she and Rahul Gandhi are tone deaf, and their communal virtue signaling is no different from that of Asaduddin Owaisi. But since the larger issue of India's stand on, India's official stand on Palestine is being discussed, let me exactly point out the difference between the government stand and that of the Congress party. We continue to maintain that we support the just Palestine cause. But post 7th October 2023, you cannot support the just Palestine cause without unequivocally condemning terrorism. And Tehseen was wrong. Sonia Gandhi or any member of the Congress party, they have never mentioned the word terror when talking about Palestine. They have mentioned violence. They may have mentioned violence, but they have never used the word terror. So every time they talk about the Palestine cause, we suspect that their support for the Palestine cause is a support for Hamas. That is the crucial difference over here, and I will tell you why. Exactly 20 days after 7th October 2023, on 27th October, Khalid Mashal, an ex-Hamas chief, did a video conferencing with some radical groups in Mallapuram, barely 100 kilometers from Wayanad. Did you hear any word of condemnation from either Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi? Of course, the CPIM government
Let
in
me tell
Karnataka
you,
equally,
there was one
Kerala
person,
equally supported it.
there was one person, Mr. Sinha, who was troubled by it. If you remember, it was Shashi Tharoor, and guess what they did to him? They told him to keep quiet. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you
These
remember?
facts need to be, and that is why I am saying it with all responsibility, that every time they talk about the Palestine cause, we suspect that, their support for Palestine is actually a support for Hamas, and that is why we, raise this alarm.
Okay, Tehseen Poonawala wants to respond to you. Yes, sir. Go ahead. You're on mute, I think, Tehseen Poonawala. You're on mute, sir.
I don't know in the earlier segment when I read out a very strong statement of Srimati
We
Sonia
heard
Gandhi,
you.
which is not strong, when Prime Minister Modi was read out. I don't know how somebody can then say a statement as strong as calling Hamas terrorists, much more stronger than the Prime Minister. There is a support for Hamas. She was very categorical, and so is the Congress.
Can you read that statement out again?
Yes, I would. Just give me a second, please.
Yeah.
I switched off my mobile, but just give me a second. Yes.
I'll bring in for that.
On 7th of October 2023, on the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War, Hamas launched a brutal attack on Israel, killing more than 1,000 people, mostly civilians, and kidnapping over 200 more. The unprecedented attack was devastating for Israel. The Indian National Congress strongly believes that violence has no place in a decent world, and we unequivocally condemn the Hamas attack. Unequivocally condemn
Viewers,
the Hamas.
did you hear the word terror? Did you hear the word terror anywhere in that equation? Anywhere, viewers? No. That is what the BJP spokesperson was saying. Yes, Mr. Mitra, go ahead.
May I please?
Exactly, and on the first instance, Tehseen had fudged that word. That is exactly the point. He had inserted it on, voluntarily.
No.
She never mentioned terror. And then, after she says very next day, unequivocally condemned the Hamas attacks without ever mentioning terror, she then equivocates. This tragedy is, however, being compounded by the Israeli military's indiscriminate operations. And the rest of the thing is a full-on condemnation of Israel.
May I please respond to that?
My God.
Please respond
On
to
a
that.
day, viewers, on a day,
Editorial in the Hindu.
on a day, and I want to bring in Mr. Mitra because, he is a defense analyst also, and I want to bring you in, Mr. Mitra, because I think the world needs to know. Mr. Mitra, when in Kargil, Pakistani disguised troops were trying to infiltrate and perhaps even did, I want to ask you, which country came to our rescue and in what capacity? Number one. Number two, I want you to tell us why on this particular day we should actually not be condemning Israel, but perhaps coming out and thanking Israel. Can you explain?
So, Rahul, thankfully, we are thanking Israel because we're supplying them with shells and certain smart ammunitions that are manufactured in India. So, we clearly are supporting Israel where it actually matters, more than words, with actual weaponry. Number one. Number two, it wasn't just Israel coming to our help in the Kargil war. Remember, in the Kargil war, the world was more or less with us. It was in 1971 when the Americans imposed sanctions on us, sent the fleet against us, that Israel broke from its own ally, the United States, and supplied Mrs. Indira Gandhi, which is to say Mrs. Priyanka Gandhi's paternal grandmother, her government with the weapons required for us to use, with the supplies required for us to use. Since the surrender of East Pakistan happened just a few days back, we should remember that it was Israel that helped us in that war also.
There you go, viewers.
We were completely ostracized.
When you speak about
condemned us.
When you speak about international affairs, and 1 second, Mr. Mitra, when did we give diplomatic recognition to Israel?
1991.
Now, viewers,
under Narasimha Rao.
just think about it. Indira Gandhi gets help. Indira Gandhi gets help. Indira Gandhi gets help from the Israelis. Does nothing about it for 20 years. She goes, unfortunately, in a terrible tragedy. Her son comes in. He loses his life. It takes P.V. Narasimha Rao's government the pragmatism to open a diplomatic relationship with Israel. Otherwise, viewers, we were the first country to recognize Palestine, by the way, under Mr. Nehru. Now, viewers, when you speak about international affairs, remember, any senior leader in our politics must be careful about not breaking ranks with the government of the day. That's the basic principle of politics, bipartisan support for foreign policy. Unless there is an egregious crime being committed, which is not. India has taken a very principled stand, says yes, we are honoring our commitments to Palestine, but we will not side with anyone who uses their soil to export terror. And unfortunately, Palestine has been doing this, viewers, for years altogether. Now, you can call it liberation, you can call it a freedom fighter, you can call it what you want to, but it is terror in the eyes of the world. And Priyanka Gandhi Vadra must have the sagacity to draw red lines and understand the nuance of foreign policy. If she doesn't, it's best to keep quiet. Let the experts handle it. She's clearly not an expert. It's her first time in parliament. She, at the age of 50 plus, has taken this massive leap to become a professional politician. She doesn't have the experience, unfortunately, to get into areas which could lead to repercussions diplomatically for India. Now, the government has had to step in and sort of backpedal on what Priyanka Gandhi is saying. Think about it, viewers. It's embarrassing. Let's move on, because this is another embarrassment, and this is another embarrassment that is being heaped upon the Congress, not by the government, not by Modi. It's a severe embarrassment for the Congress party, as its allies have sought to school the leadership of the Congress over what they claim is a misplaced attack on the Election Commission and EVMs. Yes, viewers, there is an explicit, in fact, absolutely explicit ticking off that the India alliance partners of the Congress are giving the Congress party. You can see in the middle of your screen the Congress delegation had gone to the EC complaining about EVM, saying that no, we want paper ballots. On the right is, of course, Rahul Gandhi, who's been marching through this country every day on this particular issue, saying that EVMs, Indian democracy, EVMs, this, that, the other, EC, compromise, no level playing field, this, that, the other. Now listen to his own allies, one Omar Abdullah, the other one Abhishek Banerjee. Listen in, viewers.
I have no problem with you making an issue out of the EVMs, so long as you do it also when you win. The EVMs can't only be a problem when you lose the election, because they're the same EVMs. So when you get 100 plus members of parliament using the same EVMs, and you celebrate that as sort of a victory for your party, you can't then a few months later turn around and say, well, actually, hang on, we don't like these EVMs because now the election results aren't going the way we would like them to. If you have problems with the EVMs, then you should be consistent in those problems. And the thing is, how can you have a problem with EVMs and then continue to fight elections? If you don't trust the machines, then you shouldn't be fighting.
जो लोग ईवीएम पे सवाल उठा रहे हैं, अगर उनके पास कुछ है तो इलेक्शन कमीशन को जाके वो डेमो दिखानी चाहिए। और मैं इतना दिन से चुनाव जमीन पे करवाता हूँ, मुझे लगता है आप अगर ईवीएम रैंडमाइजेशन के टाइम ठीक से काम करेंगे और बूथ पे जो लोग काम करता है वो मॉक पोल के टाइम पे भी आप अगर चेक करेंगे, उसके बाद काउंटिंग के टाइम पे आपका 17C जो फॉर्म होता है जिससे बैलेट यूनिट, कंट्रोल यूनिट मिलाया जाता है, वो अगर ठीक से चेक करेंगे तो मुझे नहीं लगता है कि ये जो एलिगेशन है इसमें कोई सब्सटेंस है। अगर फिर भी किसी को लगता है कि भाई ईवीएम मैनिपुलेट हो सकता है, ईवीएम हैक हो सकता है, तो मुझे लगता है डेलीगेशन जाके इलेक्शन कमीशन को मिलना चाहिए।
Give proof, he says. Omar Abdullah being very pragmatic, putting it out in pretty logical terms, viewers. The BJP raised this issue in parliament today through Milind Deora. Listening.
Another fake narrative and inconvenient truth. Sir, another fake narrative and inconvenient truth जो मैं रेज करना चाहूंगा, जो कुछ ही दिन पहले इनफैक्ट हमारे इंडिया अलायंस के गठबंधन साथी जो जम्मू और कश्मीर के मुख्यमंत्री है, तत्कालीन मुख्यमंत्री है, is the issue which I don't think anyone has raised today, the issue of electronic voting machines. जब चुनाव जीतते हैं कुछ लोग तो ईवीएम्स का स्वागत करते हैं, जब चुनाव हारते हैं तो ईवीएम में कुछ गड़बड़ है।
The stand taken by the Congress party's allies is in sharp contrast and contradiction to the claims the Congress has been making over the years, alleging EVM tampering and the like after electoral setbacks. Irony is that the claims are easily debunked by the facts on the ground, by statements, by affidavits that have been sworn to in court, etc., etc., in the public domain. In December 2024, in a letter to the Election Commission just a few days ago, Congress's Data Analytics Department chief said this increase of 4.3% in voters enrolled and 13% in votes polled is unusually high compared to the previous election cycles in Maharashtra or other states. Under similar election cycles, the EC response was very simple. No mismatch has been found between the additional votes polled and the corresponding VVPAT slips in random counting during the Maha Assembly polls. One is hoping that in the interest of complete disclosure, the EC will also put out the raw data. One is hoping that is also going to happen, and the court is now cognizant of this matter. A Congress person has gone to court, the Supreme Court no less, and asked for this data from the EC, and we shall be seeing movement forward there also. In June 2024, Rahul Gandhi backed Elon Musk by saying EVMs in India are a black box. Question: can Rahul draw an analogy after the Supreme Court has asked the EC to count VVPAT slips in 5 booths per assembly segment, and there have been thus far no disparities in any election, viewers? In December 2023, Digvijay Singh said any machine with a chip can be hacked. Have opposed EVM since 2003. Can we allow Indian democracy to be controlled by professional hackers? Question mark. Viewers, a counter question: has Congress ignored the Election Commission's response pointing out that Indian EVMs are standalone units that are not connected to the internet and cannot be hacked? December 2022, Jairam Ramesh says trust has been repeatedly violated in recent years on account of pressures being put on the Election Commission of India by the Modi government. Question: has this theory fallen flat as BJP couldn't manage a majority on its own in the 2024 Lok Sabha polls? If Modi was so crooked according to the Congress, why wouldn't he have rigged the elections by rigging those machines and got himself a majority? At the end of the day, who looks weak, viewers? Mallikarjun Kharge on 28th November 2024 says, let them keep EVMs with them. We don't want EVMs. We want voting on ballot paper. Then they will know what their position is and where they stand. Has Congress forgotten that in 1984, as per author Dayanand Pandey, the Dainik Bhaskar photographer B.D. Garg captured booth capturing by Congress workers on camera? Is Congress wanting that system back? Unquote. Kirti Azad admitted that poll booths in Bihar were looted by Congress workers for him and his father in 1999 elections. Does Congress want to return to such an era? Congress came to power in 2004 and 2005 and 9 despite EVMs being used across nations. Were EVMs open to rigging back then? Viewers, you accept a result when it puts you in power. You have a problem with it, and the EVM when it doesn't quite go your way. Let's open this up. Again, Tehseen Poonawala is there with us. Anish Gawande is also there with us. Let me begin with you, Anish Gawande. Let me ask you, sir. Now it's your allies who are saying there's a problem with your narrative. Is this narrative being foisted upon the nation to protect those that actually fail the Congress party at a strategic level to give a majority to the Congress, a victory to the Congress or the India Alliance? Is that really what is happening? Is Rahul Gandhi being shielded by creating alibis, EVM, this, that, and Adani, Fadani, the whole lot? And who is opposing him on this? It's all the allies. Even your boss, Mr. Pawar, says don't bring in this Adani nonsense. It doesn't square.
So to start off with, Rahul, let me address the EVM claim head on, right? I think we've been very clear, and Mr. Pawar from the very first day has been very clear, that any allegations along the lines of EVM tampering have to be accompanied by hard facts before we make them, because these are very serious allegations, right? So we don't make them lightly. We've managed to sort of get enough evidence to submit to the Election Commission on EVMs, and that process is going through the courts. The biggest problem we've had this election, however, which is a problem we raised in the Lok Sabha elections as well, is deceptively similar symbols that cost us 1 Lok Sabha seat in the Lok Sabha elections and almost 11 Lok Sabha seats in the Vidhan Sabha elections, where a deceptively similar symbol was allotted to independent candidates with the same name as NCP-SP candidates, despite 80 plus free symbols being available. So it's not the machine, it's the machinery, right? I think there are serious questions being raised before the Election Commission. The Election Commission in Maharashtra at least has been very graceful. It has addressed a lot of these questions head on. But I think there needs to be a serious conversation around what is the problem in asking these questions. These are elections that people need to believe in. In Marka, to have postal ballot votes, Section 144 was imposed and the authorities clamped down. You know, this doesn't bode well for democracy and doesn't look good for a government that has just come to power with an overwhelming majority.
Mr. Gawande, you raised the issue of Markawadi. Can you give me the results for the last 5 elections in Markawadi? And you will know that it didn't always go in your favor.
Of course
yes,
it didn't.
It didn't.
In fact,
now
that's
one second.
precisely why we said let the people decide.
Yes, now hang on. Would you like for us to hold a paper ballot election by the people. Forget about the EC, dismiss them all, sack everybody, get rid of the Supreme Court. Why have all these institutions? In Jharkhand, in Karnataka, in Himachal Pradesh, to test who is really winning those elections. You want a Republic of Markawadi to be repeated everywhere. Are we scripting an R.K. Lakshman or, Malgudi days kind of fantasy? I don't know what is going on here.
No, but there's no public faith right now, Rahul, and that
really? There is no. So all those people who voted for the BJP, you say
the job of the election commission.
No, 1 second. I'm asking you. No, Mr. Gawande, hang on. There are a large number of people who do support the BJP. You agree or you disagree?
I agree absolutely.
So they have no right in this country.
No, of course
they can lump it. Right. So what are you saying? There's no faith. Those people have faith.
Even if one person has concerns around EVMs, the election commission.
So give us the proof.
Concerns.
You could have gone. Like you could have gone. Now hang on, viewers. Just think about this. He said a symbol was looking very similar. For God's sakes, viewers, their surnames are a ditto similar to each other. Pawar on this side and Pawar on the other side. If anything that should have caused confusion, it should have been the two Pawar surnames. The faces of the leaders. Viewers, we can keep changing the goalposts. Mr. Gawande is very clever. He's changed the goalposts. He's removed it from the EVM now to the, not from the machine, but to the machinery. BJP national spokesperson, please respond. It's got nothing to do, Mr. Tuhin Sinha, with the machine. Rahul, it's all now the machinery.
I was very disappointed to see Sharad Pawarji go to Markawadi village and support the villagers' demand. Where are we going? I mean, is every village, is every lane now going to decide whether they want to go through paper ballot or whether they want to go through EVM and, the common... are we going to have separate, polling methods in different parts of the country? I think instead of educating the voters better, and let me give you two examples where congressmen have wholeheartedly accepted the results. Nana Patole, after winning by 300 seats, immediately brought out a newspaper ad. He brought out banners thanking people for his victory. Bhupendra Huda has gone on record saying that there was no organization of the party in Haryana for the last 10 years. It is futile to blame the EVM. So who are these people exactly, who are blaming the EVM? Is it a coterie around Rahul Gandhi who wants to shield him?
No, I'll tell you, Mr.
That is the bigger question, because all the allies,
I'll tell you, there is a problem here. You see, these democratic parties, these very, the parties who live democracy. And I want to bring in the senior fellow of the IPCS, Mr. Iyer. Mr. Iyer Mitra, let me ask you very simply this. Which one of them use ballot papers to elect their presidents or their lifelong chiefs or supremos? Can we, does Sharad Pawar's party do it? Does the Congress do it? These are very democratic forces. There's not even a transparent selection process, let alone election. You can at least say that in the BJP there is a certain transparent selection process.
Rahul, do you remember there were times when the Congress election, the opposing candidate was physically removed from the room and all kinds of things? In AAP, when a certain pollster and a certain public intellectual wanted to challenge the reigning monarch, they were literally fisticuffed and thrown out of the meeting. Where are the elections held in proper closed ballot box in any party in India? Show me where the DMK election was held.
Yeah.
I completely appreciate Anish's point about the machinery. But what is new about the machinery here, Rahul? You go back to 1952 and the first election, what was happening out there? People were cutting other people's votes by having similarly named candidates. This isn't something that started off in 2014 or 2019. And the person is given a symbol to choose.
Yeah.
Now this is gaming the system.
Gaming the system.
About it.
Gaming the system.
Bending the rules, but you're not breaking them.
Okay.
Where is the law been broken?
Same machines and machinery gave you 100 seats. Did Modi tell the machines, look guys, defeat me. This election, I want to look a little weak. I want to look bad. I want to look like I don't deserve to be the Prime Minister again. And I want the Congress party to think it's won the election. Fantastic, isn't it?
lot of questions raised, Rahul, but just to clarify one point you made in the beginning, where has the Congress said when it's won an election that you could do it again on a ballot or verify it on a ballot like the village in Maharashtra? Well, it did. Actually, in the Rajya Sabha, when it won Punjab and the BJP won UP, in Rajya Sabha, the leader of the opposition then got up and said, we are okay to redo Punjab on a ballot and let's redo UP on a ballot. But that's not the issue. Since you just raised that point, and one more since Abhijit raised, which elections are transparent in a political party? The Congress's election was not just transparent. Those who voted were verifiable voters with barcodes, etc., who voted for Khargeji. But let me come to the issue at hand, because EVM, these are diversionary issues. Let me come to the issue at hand. One, there should be 100% VVPAT matching. This will end the debate. I agree that the country is not ready to go back to ballot, and I get that. Two, apart from 100% voting, there are two very important demands that I have made to the Election Commission, because it's my petition that's still going on in the Election Commission, is the VVPAT paper, the ink should not disappear, and the VVPAT paper must have a barcode matching it with the EVM machine. Because you will appreciate, Rahul, in the Uttarakhand, and the High Court judgment, by the way, where the Congress won in Uttarakhand, one of their ministers, the Uttarakhand High Court has ruled that this is not the VVPAT and the EVM that is the same. That matter has been in abeyance since 4 years. So they are saying to just verify it.
Okay. So viewers, to Mr. Gawande and Mr. Poonawalla, both I think come roughly from the same area. One talks about the machinery, one goes back to the machine. Viewers, but they don't answer the question. With the same machinery and the same machine, how did Modi end up with just 240 and not a majority, not 400 seats? Who's looking most silly after having made the claim for 400? Now think about that, viewers. And who's looking as if they won the election, like the Cheshire cat that they licked the cream? It is the man in the middle, Rahul Gandhi. Can you believe it, viewers? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Now, my suggestion to all these messers is to go to the courts, file cases, go after the EC, do their due diligence in court, instead of advocating for measures to resolve issues through ad hoc means on the street. Enough of that, viewers. Enough of this. And Mr. Gawande, you're a young man. Consider your future. Please, you should be looking at parties that take you forward, not ossify you at the level of the grassroots and don't give you representation. You know, Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla talks about fairness in the election at the top level, and his brother walked out of that party, the Congress, saying that for God's sake, I wanted to challenge for the leadership. I was rejected. Okay.
Just one second.
Mr.
Incidentally, Milind spoke about EVM.
Yeah.
Gawande started his career with Milind.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. So there you go. He's chosen the right. Mr. Gawande, he knows where the future lies. Maybe you should consider it also. Let's move on, viewers. Let's move on. Young man, let's move on. Prime Minister's Museum and Library has, for the first time, formally asked for the return of personal letters written by India's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru to Edwina Mountbatten, Jayaprakash Narayan, Albert Einstein, among others. These letters were sent to the Congress leader Sonia Gandhi in 2008 during the UPA regime, allegedly after she sent someone to retrieve them. The request was made on behalf of the PM Museum on December 10th by member and Ahmedabad-based historian Rizwan Qadri, who spoke to Congress MP Rahul Gandhi. Qadri wants Rahul to retrieve the original letters from party leader and his mother Sonia Gandhi, or provide photocopies or digitized versions of the same. A similar request was earlier made to Sonia Gandhi in September. While the BJP said 51 cartons, this is an allegation, viewers, of Nehru's letters were taken away, some of the party's leaders specifically pointed to letters written to Edwina Mountbatten, the wife of the last Viceroy of India, Lord Louis Mountbatten, with whom the Indian leader had a close relationship. Some people believe that it was not just platonic. Let's speak to Qadri and get a sense of why he wrote the letter to Rahul Gandhi asking him to return the letters. Mr. Qadri, thank you for taking the time out today to speak to me. What prompted you to write letters to Rahul Gandhi and also placing this issue on record for the first time?
मैं कंटिन्यूस डिमांड करता था कि मुझे नेहरू पेपर्स को देखना है। नेहरू पेपर्स सभी स्कॉलर्स के लिए इजीली एक्सेसिबल होना चाहिए। और हमारे इस संस्था के अंदर जो अलग अलग कलेक्शंस हैं, जो क्लोज कलेक्शन के नाम पे दिखाया नहीं जाता, तो उनको सबको ओपन कर दिया जाए। तो ये मेरा डिमांड फ्रिक्वेंटली EGM में भी रेज किया गया और नेहरू पेपर का ढंग से जो इंडेक्स बनना चाहिए, जैसे द कलेक्टेड वर्क्स ऑफ महात्मा गांधी का जिस तरह से इंडेक्स है, नंबर ऑफ पर्सन्स, प्लेसेस, इवेंट्स, ऐसा इंडेक्स भी नेहरू पेपर्स का आज तक बना नहीं था। तो उसके साथ साथ एक इश्यू ये भी रेस किया गया कि नेहरू पेपर्स के अंदर बहुत सारी चीजें मिसिंग है, तो वो किसी ने फाड़ दी है। एक
फाड़ दी
बुजुर्ग इंसान जिनको मैंने बहुत बरसों पहले देखे थे, वो पुरानी फाइलें लेके बैठते थे और उसके साथ साथ पेपर श्रेडर मशीन भी लेके बैठते थे। तो वो कौन थे
नहीं,
और उसको फाड़ने के पीछे उनका क्या मकसद था? तो ये सारा उसका भी इंक्वायरी होना चाहिए, फॉरेंसिक ऑडिटिंग का भी बात हुआ। पर एडविना माउंटबेटन का पेपर के बारे में जब एजीएम के अंदर हमारे साथी, हमारे बुजुर्ग राम बहादुर राय जी ने कहा कि उन्होंने पास में कोशिश की थी और उन्होंने पुलिस कंप्लेन भी किया था, इस वजह से ये पूरा कलेक्शन दोबारा वापस रख दिया गया।
नहीं,
तो ये इश्यू हम कंटिन्यूअस इसको फॉलो करते रहे और उसके बाद मैंने रिटर्न।
नहीं, आप कह रहे हैं कि कोई पेपर श्रेडेड हुए हैं, श्रेड के फाड़े गए थे। अब आप क्या, समझ नहीं आ रही मुझे, ये बहुत ही आपने जो एक बड़ा क्लेम किया है, ये क्या पेपर्स थे?
नेहरू पेपर्स के बारे में बात की गई थी कि नेहरू पेपर के अंदर काफी सारी चीजें मिसिंग है। एआईसीसी पेपर भी आपको देखेंगे तो एज ए रिसर्चर आपको फौरन पता चलेगा कि इसमें कुछ पन्ने नहीं है। तो ये राजन या राजन नाम की व्यक्ति ने ये नेहरू पेपर्स के साथ जो खिलवाड़ किया था, इसके पीछे का उनका क्या मकसद था ये पता नहीं है। मगर जब हम इसका ऑडिटिंग करेंगे, फॉरेंसिक ऑडिटिंग करेंगे, तब पता चलेगा कि इसके पीछे उनकी मंशा क्या थी, वो क्या
मंशा तो अलग बात है। मैं ये पूछना चाह रहा हूं कि ऑर्डर किसने दिए थे कादरी साहब इन पेपर्स को श्रेड करने के? ऑर्डर्स किसको दिए? हाईकमांड से ऑर्डर आए थे? आपको क्या पता है इसके बारे में?
नहीं, इन्होंने जो भी उनका मकसद रहा होगा, मैं उनको पर्सनली जानता नहीं था वो कौन थे क्या थे, मगर वहां पर जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के लोग थे उनको भी पता था कि वो कौन सी फाइल में करते हैं। मगर जब हमारा एजीएम में कंटिन्यूस ये क्वेश्चन रेज होता रहा, मेरी तरफ से भी कंटिन्यूस राइटअप भेजा जाता था ये एक्शन टेकन रिपोर्ट के लिए, तो उसके बाद अभी आखिरी मिनट के अंदर ये कहा गया हैगा कि हमने इंटरनल इंक्वायरी कमेटी कंडक्ट की है और वो फाइलों को देखेंगे कि टोटल नंबर ऑफ पेजेस पेजिनेशन किया जाता है हर फाइल का, 1 to 400 या 1 to 500।
नहीं, ठीक है, वो मैं समझ गया, मगर मैं आपसे पूछना चाह रहा हूं, जो एक दफा जो श्रेड हो गए कागज, द पेपर्स दैट वंस श्रेडेड आर लॉस्ट फॉरएवर, मिस्टर कादरी।
वो तो खत्म हो गया, वो तो डिस्ट्रॉय हो गया। मगर ये जो 2008 तक का जो नेहरू पेपर्स का पूरा कलेक्शन था, उसको बाइफरकेट करना, क्या ये वही राजन या राजम नाम की व्यक्ति है? क्योंकि मैंने तो 1-2 बार बरसों पहले उनको देखे थे, आज तो मैं उनको देखूं तो मैं पहचान भी नहीं पाऊं। अब तो उनकी उम्र भी काफी होगी, जिंदा है कि नहीं वो भी पता नहीं था। मगर ये जो 2008 यानी मार्च तक का जो नेहरू पेपर एंटायर था, उसको बाइफरकेट किया गया और उसके बाद जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर का जो कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस है या उसके अलावा उनका जो भी पर्सनल कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस है, पर्सनल कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस कैसे होता है? आज जैसे कलेक्टेड वर्क्स ऑफ महात्मा गांधी आप देखें तो वो कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस से ही बना है।
No, वो मैं समझ गया, मगर फिर ये क्यों किया गया? Was there something incriminating on those papers?
Yes, जरूर से उसके अंदर कोई ऐसी चीज होगी, ऑब्जेक्शनेबल होगी, तो ही उन्होंने उसको डिस्ट्रॉय करा ना। उसके पीछे का मकसद क्या था? और ये जैसे 2008 के मार्च तक का पूरा कलेक्शन एक ही एंटायर कलेक्शन था, उसको बाइफरकेट करके ये जो 8 कलेक्शन है 51 कार्टन, 51 बॉक्स है, कितना बड़ा कलेक्शन होगा, कार्टन की क्या साइज है तो मुझे पता नहीं है, क्योंकि मैंने तो कभी देखा नहीं है, किसी को दिखाया नहीं गया। एडविना माउंटबेटन के जो कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस के बारे में राम बहादुर राय जी ने बहुत ही डिटेल में बताया था। अभी लास्ट वीक भी उनसे मेरा डिटेल में बात हुआ था।
नहीं, आप देखिए, ऑब्वियसली दिस नीड्स टू बी, थैंक यू मिस्टर कादरी, दिस नीड्स टू बी इन्वेस्टिगेटेड क्लियरली व्यूअर्स, बिकॉज अ मैन if he had correspondences with individuals who were in a position to influence global affairs, etc., we need to know what those correspondences were. Did they have an impact, in fact, in the way India was viewing the world and shaping its own foreign policy? This is an important matter. Yes, there might be personal papers, but viewers, in larger national interest, should they be released? That's the question. We leave it at that, viewers.
A plane up there, right? You see that? That's an airline, commercial airline. There you go, another one there. Now, that is not a commercial airliner. It's hovering, it's sitting right there, all right? And then you got more, a lot more. You got another one over here, just hovering around, just hanging out. Airlines don't just hang out, and those aren't helicopters. You got several over here now that are flying around. Two there are flying, one's hovering. a plane up there. Right? You see that? That's an airline. Commercial airline. There you go, another one there. Now, that is not a commercial airliner. It's hovering, it's sitting right there. All right? And then you got more, a lot more. You got another one over here. Just hovering around, just hanging out. Airlines don't just hang out, and those aren't helicopters. You got several over here now that are flying around. Two there are flying, one's hovering.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. We begin with the Khalistanis. They have issued a new threat, this time against the Indian ambassador to the United States. The threat was made on American soil, yet Washington has taken no action against the perpetrator, Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. This time he has targeted Russia too. So where is this heading and what is Moscow's response? We'll tell you. In Myanmar, China is set to send a private army, much like Russia's Wagner Group. What kind of security implications will it have for New Delhi? Sri Lanka's new president is in India. We'll discuss why this is a significant trip. How much money has the Assad family looted from Syria? Reports talk about plane loads of cash and tons of gold. Why is the world in a hurry to legitimize the group that has taken power in Damascus? How did